Welcome to West Kentucky Community and Technical College's Cooking at the College. I'm your host, Chef Brett McCarthy, and I want to cook with you. Welcome to West Kentucky Community and Technical College's Cooking at the College, West Kentucky's premier cooking show. And we're going to be talking about sauces today. At the beginning of our cooking series, we had several things that required dessert sauces, and I promised you that I would show you some how to make some of these dessert sauces from scratch without you having to go out to the store and purchase these sauces. They're very inexpensive to make. They last for a long time, and I think they're much better than their retail counterparts. So we're going to show you, certainly they're more natural. So I'm going to show you three different sauces. One is going to be a raspberry coulis or raspberry sauce. Next one's going to be just a plain old chocolate sauce. And then Rick, my assistant, is going to be making a white chocolate caramel sauce. So I think that'll be wonderful, will it not?
Yes, it will.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with a raspberry sauce. And we're just going to take this, and these are just frozen raspberries. I prefer to use frozen raspberries for a couple of reasons. First of all, frozen raspberries don't get fuzzy, so they last a lot longer. And they also have a deeper, richer color, I think, for a sauce, and they just last a little bit longer. So it works out really well. So we're going to do this. We're going to start with this and just get it in the old Hamilton Beach. And I slightly thawed the raspberries this time around. You probably see on an old one of our blooper episodes that it didn't quite work out for us the first filming through. So just going to grind that up. Now there's a couple of different types of raspberries you can buy. You can buy frozen in juice, just plain, or you can buy frozen sweetened. And if you have already sweetened them, or they already come sweetened, you won't have to sweeten them later. Okay? These are unsweetened, so we will have to add some sugar to this. Okay, so we're going to pour this in just a strainer there. Okay? And I'm going to take a rubber spatula and just press that through. So, oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
What's the purpose of putting it through a strainer?
We're trying to strain out all those seeds that are in there. Of course, raspberries have quite a few seeds. It's going to make a nice smooth consistency sauce. It'll look pretty on the plate. And you can see that you have all that excess pulp and seeds in there. So this takes out all that pulp. And so now we have a nice, pretty sauce there. And we're going to add a little bit of cherry brandy. You don't have to add any alcohol to it unless you want to, but this is just going to add a nice flavor to it. You could also add something like a Chambord, which Chambord is an actual raspberry liqueur. This is a cherry liqueur. Complements the raspberries very nicely. This is an inexpensive cherry brandy. The expensive one is Kirschwasser, and forgive me for my pronunciation. I always mess up when I say that. But you just add the cherry brandy. And then we're going to add some powdered sugar. All right. Now this is done to taste, but I would say you're going to need about 4 to 5 tablespoons, maybe as much as 6 or 7 tablespoons, and you're just going to whisk that in. A nice small whisk is why I'm using. Usually I'd use a bigger whisk, but this just will work a lot easier for getting all the little bits of.
Chef, why should they use powdered sugar instead of a granulated sugar?
Well, it's going to actually blend in much better. You're just full of questions, aren't you?
I am.
Oh my
I
gosh.
am.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, so we're going to actually just, it'll actually blend much easier and be much more uniform in consistency.
Won't have that
Whereas
grainy taste.
the granulated sugar might not quite dissolve as well.
Be grainy.
Yeah,
Grainy taste.
that's right. You know. Anyways, so here we go. That was a bad joke. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We got this sauce. That's all done. You want to try this a little bit? See how that tastes? No. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Very good.
My gosh.
Very good.
That's just
Excellent.
awesome. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do. We're moving right along here. Fastest. Now, how fast was that? That was absolutely fast as lightning.
Super duper.
Super duper fast. Now we're getting into the 1950s. Super duper. Okay, here we go. So, chocolate sauce. Not a lot in here. Okay, we got 8 ounces of corn syrup, 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate morsels. We got a half a cup of heavy cream and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right. The first thing we're going to do is add our chocolate morsels. One for me. All right. And we got to go over to the stove. Okay. Okay, so we have it on the stove here, and I'm just going to turn this on, get the right flame going. All right. And just going to start melting that. Remember about chocolate is chocolate melts real quick, but it can also burn real quick too. If you're really afraid of this, then maybe you should use a double boiler and just put a bowl on top with your chocolate bits over some boiling water, and that'll prevent it from burning on you. But just a nice low flame is fine. Okay, chocolate melts at about 100 degrees or so. It starts to melt, so it really doesn't need much in the way of heat. All right, and we have this almost melted. You see how fast that was? And I have no idea why I'm using such a big spoon, but it seems to be working for me. So, you know, standard WKCTC issue. All right. Okay. Now, this is almost melted. What I'm going to do, since we're already at the stove, and we don't have 6 cameras like Emerald does, we are going to bring you over to Rick, who's going to be doing something at the stove also. All right, so this is melted, ready to go, and we will finish that in just a moment. Turn that off, and I'm going to have the cameraman go over to Rick, and he'll explain the next sauce.
Okay. What I'm going to make is a white chocolate caramel sauce. So we're going to start with, I have about a cup and a half of white granulated sugar and about a quarter cup of light corn syrup. Try to get that all in there. And what we're going to attempt to do, we have to melt the sugar over a moderately high flame and melt it until it caramelizes. As it caramelizes, it'll turn an amber color, and you don't want it too dark, because remember, this is a white chocolate. So just leave it there, and we just got to keep stirring it so it doesn't burn. And this does take some time, so you don't want to be in a hurry. If you put it too high, of course, it's going to burn, and that's something you don't want. That doesn't taste very good.
And this process, Chef Rick, is just like the process when we made the caramel sauce. Am I correct?
That's correct, except in the other one we use butter, and there's no butter in this one.
I see. What do you think is replacing the butter or replacing the fat?
Would be the corn syrup in it.
Corn syrup.
And
Adding
the chocolate also.
The chocolate.
The chocolate will replace the fat.
That's right. There's a lot of fat, cocoa butter, in the chocolate.
And a lot of these recipes, the guidelines say should take about 10 minutes. I've never seen it happen in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we'll change our recipe up a little bit to modify it to what it actually takes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, while he's cooking that, I think we can finish up the regular chocolate sauce there. And so what we have is right here, and it's just really nice consistency there. I'm just going to warm it up just a little bit. And the reason why I chose a chocolate sauce rather than like a ganache or something like that is that this will actually be pourable at room temperature, and even if you chill it in the refrigerator, you just have to warm it up slightly and it'll be nice and pourable. Okay, so that's ready to go. I'm just going to bring you right over here. All right, so we have the melted chocolate. All right, and I just have to make a slight correction here. I had 4 ounces of corn syrup and 4 ounces, half a cup of heavy cream. I had said 8 ounces before, and just was a mistake on my part. We're just going to add that corn syrup and just stir that in to a nice smooth consistency. Corn syrup is going to allow the consistency of the chocolate from seizing back up again and keeping it nice and smooth, as well as give it that nice sweet flavor that we love in chocolate. It's going to get nice and smooth there. Woo! I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to add our heavy cream there. Just stir it very slowly there. You can say I say stirring slowly. It's not really that slowly. You can see how beautiful that's coming together. You'll have to scrape the sides a little bit. And just give it a nice kind of whipping action with the wooden spoon there. Then I'm going to add just a couple teaspoons of vanilla to that. Stir that in. And you have a wonderful chocolate sauce. Of course, you could use this chocolate sauce for other applications. Make a wonderful hot chocolate. And any application that you would use a chocolate sauce in, you could use this for this. Certainly could be a topping for ice cream. This isn't really a hot fudge. It's not quite thick enough to be of hot fudge consistency, but certainly you could do warm it up and use it on ice cream in that application. And this also would be very good for dipping strawberries or dipping other kinds of fruit. So this would be perfect for doing that as well. So this is a very nice, well-rounded kind of sauce. And there you have it. That's the chocolate sauce. Very pretty. All right, and I'm just going to show you real quick. We're going to have a little fun with that. I was thinking how I did this design just a minute ago. I was thinking how Halloween-y this looked. But we're just going to take the chocolate sauce. You do this for your kids, they'll have a ball with this. So we'll just go like that. Very, very pretty. Okay, looks like kind of a nice web on that red backdrop, so very Halloween-y. Okay, when we come back, Assistant Rick is going to show you how to finish that white chocolate caramel sauce, and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, welcome back to our show, and Rick is just finishing up, and bam, through the power of television, we have what's close to a caramel. In fact, caramel or caramel is just the amber color, so when we're caramelizing something, that's what caramel actually means. So really, we're looking at caramel right now, which is just cooked out sugar, right, Rick?
Sugar and corn syrup.
And a little corn syrup.
Right.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to my good assistant.
Now that we have it caramelized and all melted, next thing we're going to do is add our cream. This is a cup of undiluted evaporated milk, whole milk. Now when we put it in here, it's going to bubble like crazy. Don't be afraid of it.
The key is don't be afraid of it.
Well, didn't do as bad as I thought. Okay, it seizes up in there, and you put it back on the flame, and keep stirring it, and it'll all melt again. And you keep stirring it, and it'll go and turn into a nice smooth sauce. So don't be afraid, it's not ruined at this point. This is how it's supposed to be. First time I did this, I thought I totally messed it up because it seized up like this and got all hard. But if you just work with it and be patient, it'll turn back into a nice smooth sauce. Smooth and creamy.
Creamy.
What I added, like I said, was the 1 cup of undiluted evaporated milk, and I also added 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract.
Wow. Wish I had a question to throw you off, but I don't have a question for you right now.
I'm so disappointed.
Even a mess.
Just looks lived in.
And this really is the more challenging part, because again, you think looking at this kind of slurry, it looks almost like you've messed it up. Basically what has happened is the sugar has now cooled down to a part to where it has recrystallized.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it has to redistribute.
So don't pick up your pot and throw it away. Just have patience and it'll all come together.
While he's mixing up that, we're going to actually show you just an extra sauce that we hadn't planned on doing. We're just going to make a quick white chocolate sauce. And then you'll have all the sauces that you want. We'll just melt that up. And you know what? I didn't get myself a wooden spoon. I'll be right back. Grab me a wooden spoon. We're just getting way too comfortable. We're actually going out of camera view, which we're not supposed to do. All right, so And this is just 8 ounces of white chocolate. And really, white chocolate isn't chocolate at all. It's just flavored sugar because it doesn't have any cocoa butter. Sometimes they'll add a little bit of cocoa butter to it, but generally it's just sugar and more sugar. There's not much to it. Not a lot to it, and oil. Sugar and oil, that's basically all, that's all there is to it.
So it's not sugar and spice and everything nice?
No, it's not.
Hmm.
That was real corny. All right, so that's all melted out. And really, at this point, I can add half a cup of heavy whipping cream. And that's it. And we have a nice white chocolate sauce ready to go. Okay, when we get back, Rick is going to show you the final parts of making up that white chocolate caramel sauce, and we'll join you in just a few. Welcome back. And Chef Rick has just finished up dissolving all that sugar in the pot there. And Rick will
See, it turned out nice and
take it
smooth
from here.
now. It's all dissolved. So our final step is to add the white chocolate morsels. And I have 8 ounces here. Just going to drop it right in there. And then the easiest way is to take a whisk and just let it melt in there and just whisk it until it's all smooth and dissolved. It's coming together real good. Very nice. Doesn't take very long to dissolve. And there you have it. White chocolate caramel sauce.
All right, I'm just finishing up right here just to show you our finished product here. Pots and pans everywhere. What you see right here is we have the raspberry sauce and a chocolate sauce, the white chocolate sauce, caramel white chocolate, and we just made a little design. We took a little bit of chocolate and white chocolate, put it together, and we put a little white chocolate and raspberry. So the possibilities are endless. You've got infinite possibilities. And just to show a little bit, I think Chef Rick wants to talk a little bit about the contrasting color between the two.
If you notice this, now these are the same sauces, but this one's darker than this one. And this happened because I took that sugar and the
Corn syrup.
And when I caramelized it, I let it go longer. And it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're making a white chocolate sauce, which that doesn't look like white chocolate, does it? Now this looks more like a white chocolate. It's a lighter color.
So you can actually variate the color by simply cooking it a little bit longer. So you just cook this a little bit longer. This has more of a caramel to it. And again, you can use this for a variety of applications, including caramel-covered apples. So this can be used for that. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about the fact that there's a lot of flexibility with this kind of sauce because you could do this with strawberries, raspberries, you could do a mixed berries, maybe even a blackberry. So there's a lot of variety here as well. So there's so many different variations that you can do. But here you got 4 main sauces. And if you cook the sugar out, you really have a basic caramel sauce. If you don't want to add the white chocolate, and you can follow the recipe that we had on the last show that we taped that actually has that caramel, just basic caramel sauce. So there's all different kinds of things that you can do. Want to thank Chef Rick for showing us and helping us out once again. And
My pleasure.
Hey, thanks for coming and joining us, Cooking at the College, West Kentucky's premier cooking show. Bon appetit. That's going to take a couple seconds here. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here because they are a little bit frozen. All right, come on, baby. Come on. There we go. There it comes. Oh, yeah. Don't fail me now. What do you think, Rick? A little bit of water to help that out?
Well, if you use water, it's going to not add too much.
Oh, we just add just a drop of water. Rick, can you go and grab me just a little drop of water? And so we're just going to add a couple tablespoons of water just to kind of help it out a little bit. Let it. We're just having lots of fun with this, aren't we? I've never had so much trouble with raspberry coulis in my life. That's all right.
It's best if we would have had time to let it thaw out completely. Turn off the